Ron, race controlled everything, my brother. You know, in colonial times, it controlled our people, you know, the way they lived, you know, they lived in camps, you know. So that's if you were obedient to the regime, and if you were not, you know, you get shot and you get killed on the spot. If you were considered to be guerrilla, for example. So these were stories, and some of it, I mean, is documented. If you watch, say, Thames TV, you know, they document some of those horrific moments when destruction happens. So for those who don't watch Thames TV, you must watch Thames, THAMES TV. Yeah, it will give you some of that historic backgrounds on what happened and what you're expecting to see when proper destruction comes through. So, you know, me being born, my grandmother took me to church. I was baptized. My grandmother was with Church of Christ, my grandfather Muslim. So my grandfather was a Muslim man, my grandmother, they both practiced two religions. So, you know, growing up, there was this family, the Garrett family, Garrett. Yeah, they lived in Harare. They sponsored our church, but mostly they would sponsor my grandma. You know, I would get like clothes, new clothes, tuxedos and stuff like that. You know, so growing up, I already had love and also being born. In Zim, we call it, if you're born after 80, you're born free. So you're born, you know, without all these hurdles. And the system really worked hard to merge us, to put us together. So I don't see literally race like that, because we were already taught since growing up to not see that as the way to drive forward. So laws of the country, I mean, if you look at here where we are, most of our white brothers and sisters, they follow these laws not because they are oppressive or they are a dynamic situation. It's just that the laws, they work, you know, and that's why they're followed. So our people, if they are to follow, say, you know, simple laws such as, you know, pay taxes, you know, build systems for our people, you know, we will be in a better space. So then we can't say like the white race is more powerful than the black race, only if black people are sitting and not developing and or waiting for the white race to give them something. But if you work together equally and not see color like that, you know, then you will know, you know, in an elite level of thinking or where proper solutions are created, you know, those men and women, they fight what you call it, knowledge, you know, they fight ethics, you know, they don't fight with simple stuff like race, you know. So race, even if you fight like that, that's third tier fights, you know, and they're not even important on a major struggle to actually getting things done. So we have to overcome race as a barrier for us to move forward. You know, I understand about economics, sharing resources, but if you look at it, ANC, ZANU-PF, these are black governments. You know, what have they done just after the apartheid and after we set at the Langsha House, you know, to say, okay, let's end this in Zim, because Zim was taken by blood, man. You know, people fought there, so our history is dark, and every Zimbabwean knows that's something we were taught, that we can never think to ever be such, you know, because those are barbaric times, man. Those are we call it uneducated politics times, you know, when people were just like beating one another to submit, and the world has evolved, you know. So if we have evolved, you know, forget just the word education, you know, we have mastered the idea of how we can live life together and be happy. So as a black people, I mean, we have been in power now in different parts for a very long time. You know, what have we done? I understand some people would want to say, but now they're being controlled by the West, they're being controlled by this, and who told them to be controlled? Because when you're being controlled, it's your choice to be controlled. The deals that you enter, it's your choice to enter those deals. So we can't sit here and say, no, we're being controlled by. Nah, everyone is controlled by something, if you let them. So I will always respect your history as always, and you see, your history has a pain, and it's such as my history with pain. I take that pain, I build things, creativity. I can't focus on pain to bring peace. No, I have to focus on healing. I have to focus on creativity moving forward. Hence why, my bars is a bit different. So, Reconnect Africa, Black Pride, building that, it was after years of working within the system, in the private sector, being helped by the white race, the Indian race, the colored race, which is, to me, the black race. So everybody helped live, get to where he got to. So at the end of the day, it's a multiracial movement that we move, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we build, So I wouldn't want to flip-flop or people to think I'm on this pro-black thing, I'm on this pro-white thing. I don't know what that is. I know what to believe. And live is this, I have my favorites. I have things I don't like, as everybody else does that. So at the end of the day, one thing I have in my mind is the idea to know that Africans, we came from such a past, we fought with variety of people, but also if you look at the world, a lot of people fought with a lot of people. So as a people, we're distrustful. But at some point we can work together to move forward. So at the end of the day, what is this myth that, we accept low wages? Bruh, ask the people I've worked with. I had my South African brothers and sisters with me, questioning some of our salary increases. Like, nah, man, do you think this is right? So we never just take that, but I understand. In certain circumstances, some people will not be able to pay others correctly. But that's not like white people or black people or Indian people, everybody. If there's a loop, they will take that loop sometimes and do it. So that's just good people and sometimes not so good people. So at the end of the day, we can address those, but I don't think it's correct to say we take low wages, just give me a low wage. Nah. Reverse gains, how are we reversing these gains? Because we are not entering into a dispute, perhaps maybe between you and what happened and what happened that we do not understand in apartheid. We cry with you, bro. Every African has got a similar story. But as I said, without repeating, we have to move forward from that. So at work, you won't see me engaging with you because you're fighting with a white person, over some shit, and I must be on your side because you're black. I don't play that, And I do not see why people should even engage in fights or choices like that. One thing I know is when you're right, good people will always pick a side of right. When you're wrong, vice versa. So we don't have to do things in let's pro-black this or let's pro-white this. You see, people think in race and all that stuff, bruh. Be it you white and you're racist, be it you black and you're racist, that's outdated, bruh. It can still be here right now, it can still be going on, but that is really outdated, man. Let's talk about that outdated situation. So that's a myth, We helped you. We're confident with that. We're confident we help you with your confidence, your dialogue, how you speak. Right now, you speak to us in all sorts of ways that you never spoke to us because that courage that came, some of it with the symbols. So at the end of the day, we helped you argue your points in the way you express yourself and you got ahead. How you got ahead is however, But at the end of the day, some of this confidence, it wasn't there. We brought it, backfired, whatever, I don't care. Illegal migrants, undocumented people, That's not cool. You can't be roaming around in South Africa. I'm not even defending you whatsoever. I mean, we all got into this country at some point. I mean, ways sometimes that were not so cool. But then there's a way you have to get legalized, you know. Even me, my way of coming in here, I mean, you know, if you check my history, it wasn't like proper like that. But 20 years ago, you know, these things were like, you could even write a song about it. You know, it was considered cool. But I mean, you can't jump the border all the time and expect for things, you know, it's 20 years later. Things have changed. So you see, you can't jump the border right now and expect to write stories and it considered to be cool. So that's not the time. So I mean, that's why I say we have to fix our mistakes if there were mistakes that were made, and people have to move forward. You see, at the end of the day, we help each other to improve each other. Even now, what is considered right or wrong, we have seen it. You know, I can never sit here and say, no, people must just do wrong because they're from Zim and I'm from Zim. Nah, it's not like that. So, I think one thing is people want to push orders into other people and say, you must do this because we want this. You know, we have to share ideas, ethics, you know, things have to be similar in a way, you know. So, we just choose to work harder and not complain sometimes. And I think if you look at how the work system is set up, it has to keep going. And people don't understand, as I said before, you know, robots are actually replacing us because we complain, we work less, complain, we work less. So wherever there's a loop to put a robot, they are putting robots there. You know, so laws and structures, rules of the country are of the most importance. You know, they have to be followed. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. If you're guiding this in Zanzi, laws have to be followed, you know. And that is just something that you can't run away from. You can't be doing crimes out here. You can't be doing that. No ways. You know, I'm self-employed. I'll always be self-employed. I'm happy with that. I'm just the type that's just not go with, sometimes I think, being told what to do because I already feel like I know what I gotta do. You know, growing up, dynamics of living life, I understand. I mean, we can take with the mind structure I have, I can help our people get to a certain structure, you know, and with that, we can change, you know, so many people's lives. But as Africans, we're fighting each other so much, you know. So on a major level, we have to unite.